I'm here with Matt from Decrepit Birth. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Now we're here at the Whiskey A Go Go for the Helen July tour. It's so exciting. Decrepit Birth's use of non-specific language allows for the band to discuss its views on humanity and the universe as a whole. What has influenced your adopting this lyrical style as opposed to one that uses like specific words?
Yeah, we definitely enjoy being a little bit more abstract, and I think that stems from we like letting the fans and our friends read our lyrics and kind of make their own assumption of it. I'm not the main lyric writer, that's Bill, so I can't really like get too deep into all that. But him and I definitely share similarities in what the ideas and inspirations behind the theme of the band are, and we're obviously really into like consciousness and kind of waking up and seeing through the veil.
Black, white, all that nonsense. That's all it is nonsense. We're all fucking human beings. 2013, goddammit. We were all born to live our lives and make ourselves. We all have the right to be fucking happy. Without each other, none of this shit would exist. And that's what this song is all about. This one is called Symbiosis.
Decrepit Birth addresses innate characteristics with humans and the cosmos over a heavy technical musical structure, which in itself seems to demonstrate the struggle between nature and technology. Was that an intentional move on the part of the band? And if not, how did you guys decide to pair such vocals and instrumentals together?
That's an awesome question. I would say the fact that, like I said, we're kind of into this whole sci-fi type thing. Maybe in the beginning when we were younger, it was more about kind of the typical like brutal lyrics and all that kind of stuff. But as time progressed, and I don't want to just say like we grew up and changed, but it's just that life becomes a little more richer as you sit back and look at things that are around you rather than always just being a young aggressive kid. Sometimes you got to sit back and keep your mouth shut and kind of like analyze the world around you. And I think that comes from the lyrics, like you said, have a lot to do with that. Bill and I just looking, what's around us and thinking that, there's so much more to life than what the normal wake up every day and you go off to work and, just being a normal human being. I think there's a lot more spirituality to life. And I think music and art is a great expression of that. So that's kind of where we are.
So Decrepit Birth is known for its brutal tracks. And I know Bill said he was inspired by nature and women and psychedelics.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. But have you guys had any brutal lessons taught to you by those things, like women or?
Oh, I mean, of course. I'm sure Bill was joking around when he said that, but I mean, there's some truth behind it. People are people. We have to deal with people on a daily basis, not just women. It's people. And there's awesome people in the world and there's fucked up people in the world. And, it's just, all of the craziness out there and all the modern society and all these new things that everybody's into or the trends or whatever makes the big topics, I kind of just really want to stay away from a lot of that. I'm so into like history and things that have happened in the past. I think it's much more beautiful and romantic to me. Like, I don't know, than the things that people just seem to take for granted daily, today.
So how did your love for Baroque music influence your sound structure?
Well, basically any kind of classical music, even like modern classical, I guess you'd say, and just anything that's well orchestrated, I'm so like, I'm not trying to talk bad smack on like what's going on with death metal today, but I think people have kind of lost the essence of writing a song, and they just want to throw together a bunch of parts that aren't orchestrated. And, the interesting thing to me about classical music is, they do, a lot of crazy arpeggios and time signatures and all this and stuff, but it's still music and they make the progression work. And I think there's a lot of bands out there that do that in our scene, but I think it's also forgot by a lot of bands. And that's kind of like, where we're going with that. Just trying to make orchestrated music that's death metal and heavy, but at the same time is real music.
I know in the past you said you're not really into gore in metal.
It's not that I'm not into it. It's just for this band we don't do it. Like, I like bands that are gory bands. If it works and that's their niche and it just works for them, that's fine, And I've had a lot of good time. In fact, we just were over at the Neurotic Death Fest in the Netherlands, and we saw like Exhumed play, and they're an ultra gory band. They were fucking amazing, you know, and just a great band. So you know, we're all different, and if every band was the same in the scene, it would be boring as hell.
True.
So it's nice that, you know, there's a variety, I guess.
So what's most important to you when you're writing a song?
Most important, like I said, is making structure that makes some sense. You know, I mean, in the past, it was so much about this, you know, kind of riff salad, and we just throw a bunch of stuff in that maybe would kind of like be like something you have to keep listening to. And nowadays, I love that big like melodic like hook that you just know when it's coming up. Like, for instance, the beginning of our song Resonance, I mean, it's got that lead melody that, I mean, a lot of people I hear out in the audience will play like humming along to it and stuff like that. You just know it, and it's not hard to play. It's just feeling, you know, and emotion, and that's the most important thing, is conveying my emotion with a good song structure. And still being technical, I guess, here and there.
Touring can be brutal sometimes. Can you tell us the worst thing that's ever happened to Decrepit Birth on tour?
Oh my lord. There's so many. I can think of right now probably the worst one. We're still recovering from this. We were in Canada on our last tour with Obituary, well, last American tour, and our van burnt down. We were up on stage and just started smoking, and our van just done. And then 5 minutes later, we get down there, see smoke. 5 minutes later, there's a fire truck and a tow truck towing it off. There goes our van. And the tour was pretty much over from there. And then the next night, well, we ended up renting a van. We drove down and played the next show in San Francisco that night. Right before we went on stage, somebody decided to break into our van and steal all of our stuff, you know? So we went from a van fire one night to all of our shit broken in and stolen and taken. So that was a really bad experience.
Are you guys doing like an Indiegogo or anything to help you guys out with that?
No, I mean, we did get some donations from, we made a statement, and we just, you know, we posted our PayPal address, and when it happened, we got, thank you for everybody that donated, and that helped a lot. But ultimately, you know, I mean, we just like to do this stuff ourselves. We don't want to, you know, rely on other people to, you know, take care of our problems. So, we're working it out now. Our van still, you know, months later, is still being worked on, and we had to take a loaner for this tour, but it's whatever.
So what's the most touching thing that's happened to you on tour?
Touching thing. Well, you know, anytime, I think Bill would agree with this, is anytime, you know, you see younger kids, like I'm talking like young kids, you know, come out to the show, and they're into it, you know, they're interested, and they're, you know, Bill's really nice to the kids, you know, sometimes he'll give them free shirts and stuff, just because, you know, it's cool for the kids to come see a show maybe for the first time, and one of the band members comes up and shakes their hand and gives them shirts, and they really, truly appreciate it, you know, and I think that's really cool. I got 2 kids of my own, so I think that's really cool.
So what was your first concert experience, and how does that affect your live show?
My first attendance at a concert? Oh, okay. I think I was like maybe 11 years old, and I went and saw AC/DC. Yeah, that definitely changed my life. I don't know if necessarily that was a show that said to me like I wanted to play music for the rest of my life. I think that happened maybe a couple years later when I saw Yngwie Malmsteen. Then when I saw Yngwie, I was like, oh my god, that's what I want to do. You know, like that changed my life.
If you could be a roadie for any band, what band would it be?
A roadie for any band? Depeche Mode.
Depeche Mode. Woo! Alrighty.
If you guys are hiring.
For the people who are checking out your music for the first time, how would you describe your sound?
I would say definitely intense, definitely brutal, but melodic, and you know, it's music. You kind of got to peel the layers back a little bit, but definitely intense melodic music, I guess.
And what song would you recommend them to hear?
For a first song of ours?
Yeah.
I would say, God, I really like Dimensions Intertwine from our second album. That's a great song. Say, hey, check us out. So. And
what's in the future for Decrepit Birth?
New record. New record. At this point right now, we're on this tour. We've done a lot of touring in the United States for the Polarity record. Kind of like think it's time to get back to work, and I've been writing, but to really make sure the new album comes out next year. We have one more European tour after this, and then we're going to kind of slow our cycle down and just concentrate on the new record.
Nice. Thank you so much.
Thank
for joining
you.
us. Yeah, it's
Thank
great.
you.
Hollywood, thank you so fucking much. You guys have a good one.